Aries, what's up? I'm seeing us begin with there being a focus on a new chapter that you're getting started. This can be something that you're getting into that already there are some things popping up that you kind of have to deal with, or it can even mean that like getting to the point of beginning this new chapter, you've had to be figuring some things out. We are starting off with Seven of Cups. And we have Nine of Wands. All right. This is basically a time when you go through this course and you have different doors that you can go through, but only one of them is going to really be the right door here for you to go through. But you're like scratching your head. How do I figure out which one is really going to be the right choice for me to be making here? Instead of just randomly picking something, usually with the Seven of Cups, it's asking us to do some type of deeper reflection, because as we are around the surface of something, it's harder to, what is the word that I'm looking for? There's something here that needs to be done. It's harder to discriminate. So there's a need with the Seven of Cups to discriminate something that you are feeling and kind of weed out what's deeper versus what may be more surface level, what may be something that's distracting in the environment that shouldn't even be considered in this process and should actually be dismissed at the end of the day, versus what is the stuff that you really want to be focusing on here, and getting to that point of figuring that out. That's basically the challenge that you're going through right now. So you have something in front of you, you have to figure out what's serious and what's important versus what would just be a distraction in the environment that needs to be dismissed here, and taking the time to like actually get to the bottom of this. The challenge is to get to the bottom of this. So yeah, it can even be a time when you're like feeling different things and you're like, do I want to do this about it? Do I want to do that about it? What am I really like getting at here? What's at the basis of this? And just to that point of kind of like sliding down until things get like more and more broken down and more focused, rather than being like spread out here. It feels too like you can't move forward because there can be something that you want to do, but until you figure this out, it's not really recommended for you to be making this move. Like, you need to figure out totally the way that you're feeling. And once you've made sense of that, yeah, you may want to express all of this now, but it feels like if you make the move or if it comes out, it feels like it's going to be kind of like, it's like a rainbow of everything coming out from within you, but that there's like a lack of cohesion there. It's like one of those times where maybe you want to communicate something or you want to make a particular move, and it's going to be very disorganized if you do it now, and then you may like want to backtrack, and then you'll have a realization and be like, I should have like hooked a left over there instead. Instead of having to do all of that, it's like figure this out now, then make the move. But there can be a part of you that's maybe like doesn't want to wait and just wants to do this now, but that's feeling a little bit impulsive to me the way this is coming through. So you may just want to take the time now, even though it can be annoying to kind of be like sat here having to figure this part out. And then it feels like you can make the move that you want to be making, and you'll feel like confident about the direction too. This is a pretty like lofty problem, but I am seeing that you're going to be able to move through it. It's kind of like you get this really challenging assignment that you're capable of doing, but it's going to take you a minute to complete. And your guides are like, you got this, it's going to be fine, you'll be able to work it out. But the challenge is for you to actually work this out and not just skip ahead before you actually problem solve here or figure this out, clarify this. Because it's important. the way that you're moving, you want to make sure that you're making moves that at the end of the day, you're going to feel like that was the right choice for you. And until this is figured out, you're not going to know. So that means that you could make a move before you're ready to do that, before these things are clarified, and then you may not even know if it's the right move or not that you're making. It's going to be kind of like you're leaving it up to chance. You don't need to leave this up to chance. And I think even too, the suggestion is that you don't leave it up to chance and you actually figure this out before you move forward. You could have maybe not been expecting to be here though, having to do this. There may be some stuff going on in your environment too that's making you feel a little bit antsy, like I need to figure this out right now, but I also feel like you need to not put that type of pressure on yourself because it may actually disturb you doing this. Because I'm seeing a tower going on in the environment, and so that can be like feeling like the environment is tapping its foot, waiting for you to figure this out, and you have to be like, no, I got to do this on my own time. I feel like you have to do something like that here with this. But there can be pressure that you're experiencing, which can make it hard to concentrate. I feel like this thing that's going on, it's like happening kind of at a bad time, happening kind of at a chaotic time. And it's a time when you can be like, like everybody be quiet. I need to think right now. But it looks like there is not really quiet. So you have to like do something about that too and kind of figure it out in that sort of environment. Okay, here you are coming out next to Mars. We have Mars and we have Venus and we have Aries. When I see Tower and I see Emperor, I think about like a pretty chaotic situation that's going down right now, but having you show up as the Emperor is like, this is just part of what you have to handle because of the position that you're in, where it's one of those times that doesn't feel like a normal day and it doesn't feel like a normal time, but it is kind of in the job description for you that times be like this sometimes, and that you have to be able to manage it even when times are like this, even though it's not really the most ideal to have things being this chaotic, but that you are equipped to be handling something like this. So I think there's this feeling of strain on an already challenging circumstance, stuff that's making it even more difficult. But also you looking at this and saying, I can figure it out, I'm going to be able to handle it, and I will do whatever's necessary here. There may be a wave of energy that's going to help, like some necessary change. It's going to help to break some things down right now. So you can also like use that power and channel that power rather than working against it. You can work with it, and you can find that that ends up really benefiting you here, because this feels like a really great power for you to be embracing. It can be something that's difficult to manage, but it is possible for you to connect with and use in a beneficial way. And this can also be calling you to, I think there's going to be this growth that's required of you, and there's also an independent energy that's required of you where you got to be really honest and you got to be really true within the energy. Like you have to check in with yourself first and make a move according to that. Knight of Cups, Queen of Wands, and the Star. This is making sure that you're moving forward in a way that you feel right about, and that you have to be right with yourself, and that it's really, really important that the moves that you're making is considering that. Because yeah, for some of you too, it looks like you could have another person involved in this situation, and there may be an impulse for you to possibly, you just have to be thinking about yourself here. It feels like it's really important that that's being done, and that it can, it can be a time of some change, and it can actually be like a bit uncomfortable, but this feels like it's restoring things for you on the emotional front, so stuff can feel good, so you even feel empowered, especially on the emotional front. I think for a part of you that may be more sensitive and more affected by the energy at times, because I'm seeing a tower that you're like on the verge of moving on from, but we have to understand why the tower happens in the first place in order to do something about it, because the tower is never random when it comes through. The tower is saying, okay, you went too long in the wrong direction and now something is being corrected, so things come to a head. And we can feel bothered by that happening, because it's like, I don't care what the universe is saying, I'm trying to build my own thing here. But then when we're going against the force rather than working with it, stuff ends up getting unnecessarily chaotic. And then you feel like the world is against you because you're not working with that energy that really wants the best thing for you. So basically you end up working against yourself ultimately. So this is about coming back into balance with this energy. And this is the perfect opportunity for you to do exactly that, for you to embrace it and harness it and move with it and let it support you. But that also means too that it may be changing some things, and you have to be open to the changes that want to take place because it's best for you, even if it can feel uncomfortable. And that being like basically the overall message of this. It can also be a time too when like, yes, certain things that you've been working on may be being disrupted a bit here, but you have to be hopeful that this is like a change for the better, which I think will make you more open to embracing this energy rather than trying to like push it back in the volcano. Something is erupting now, and it feels like it's meant to, this energy is coming through to benefit you. But if it's like, no thank you, I don't want the changes, and then we try to like stuff it back from where it came, you're fighting against those universal forces that are always wanting what's in your best interest. And so there can be a need for you to see things like that too, in order to like see the bigger vision of what's taking place here, and that this type of change is a good type of change, and that it will bring in more of the type of energy that you want to be experiencing even. It's a time when the universe can be like, okay, we're telling you right now you need to go this way, and even if you were going a bit of a different way, you need to be receptive enough to hear that and say, okay, like maybe this actually is the better thing for me to be doing, and go that way. Because I feel sort of like something's going on within the universe right now where it looks like you're being redirected a little bit, and you can either like rebel and fight against the energy, which doesn't even feel like it's in your best interest to be doing, or you can look at it, try to see the bigger picture and realize this is actually a good thing for you and move forward with that. So yeah, it feels overall like that's something that can be done here with this, but it can be a time when you're like, I was doing things my way, and I feel like the universe kind of like stole the mic from me and is now directing me and telling me what to do. And if you can just tune into this energy, even though it can feel like it wasn't initially like your idea, it feels like it's actually really going to help you, because this is going to bring something in that you want. It's kind of like giving you this secret back door that you didn't know about, that it's going to be good for you to go through here. But because it maybe wasn't on the itinerary and it wasn't necessarily your idea, you can be resistant to it initially, but it actually feels like you're meant to embrace this and that it's going to help you. I see it even wanting to help you accomplish something important, that it looks like it's on your heart to be connecting with this. And when you tune into it too, you'll realize that it does feel empowering to go in this direction. And then you'll be like, this energy actually is supporting me and it's supporting what I want. But you have to be listening enough to actually, and be receptive enough to actually pick up on that. So that part's going to be important here. For some of you too, I'm seeing something about maybe like a little bit of a different direction that a relationship can be going in as well. This can be your relationship with yourself, it can be your relationship with your emotions, but it can also be a relationship with another person too. Be open to movement overall, even if it didn't initially feel like it was your idea, because it is helping you. See it like that, it's going to be really helpful to you overall. But this energy can be kind of like, we have Queen of Cups, we have Seven of Wands. This Seven of Wands is feeling a little bit like, initially when this is happening, there can be a part of you that's like, no, I don't want this to go on, I don't want this to happen, and kind of like this is the trying to shove it back in the volcano type of energy, when really it is going to help you to embrace this, and it is important. But it feels like there may be this part of you that is kind of like, I want to be comfy in this. Now there's a change that's occurring, and even though it's like growth and expansion, there can be a part of you that doesn't feel the most receptive to it, and it feels like it's really important that you reason with this part of you and kind of get on board with this, so this energy can be as helpful as possible. And so it can be really like pushing you downstream, but you have to stop trying to swim upstream within the energy. And this is about the wisdom for you to be able to recognize that you're not meant to be fighting against this energy, you're meant to be moving with it, and that you will be all the more in touch and feeling empowered by doing it like that. It can be kind of a weird time on a personal level for you. But yeah, I think there's this part of you, this is reminding me of another reading that I did today. Whose reading was it? I think maybe it was a collective reading. It was a collective reading. It will have come out yesterday, and I think it's the only collective reading we're going to have for... That'll have come out on the 24th, which should be a day before this. There was something in that reading about knowing when you need to let go within the energy, because this can challenge the part of you that's like, no, it needs to go like this, it needs to go like that, and the universe is like, you're gonna need to be a little bit more flexible here, and we promise you're gonna benefit from this. But you can be like, no, I wanted it to be like that, and that's not part of the plan. So you have to work with this part of you that can get like scared when this type of stuff is happening, and really want to cling and really want to hold on, but then become super rigid within the energy, and then you start like drowning a little bit within it, and it's not going to be helpful to you. So you have to work with this part of you that can be like, I want to be the only one in charge here, and then you're like not co-creating anymore, when the whole point of this is to be co-creating here with what's going on. Because it feels like that's the thing that gets you stuck in the energy, and then you can be feeling stagnancy because of that. It's kind of like you're sitting at the light and you're waiting for a green light, and the light is purple instead, and your guides are like, go on the purple light, and you're like, no, I want to wait until the green light, and they're like, go on the purple light, we're telling you, and you're like, no, I want to wait for the green one, and it's like you're stopping the story because you're not listening anymore, and you need to go with the flow of this. But that part of you that like wanted to demand that it be a green light that you go on is like not being receptive to your guides telling you to go on the purple light. So then they're like telling you to move forward, and you're still sitting there, and there's that need to move forward and push forward through the energy. And when you tap into your receptivity, you'll get connected and be like, the purple light is the one, even though that wasn't initially the plan that I had in my head. But then you end up finding that it's better for you to go on that light anyway. But it's about tuning into the energy and listening, because then you'll sync up and realize that it's the purple light and that you need to adapt to that. For some of you too, this means some of your routines are changing as well. That can be part of this. Fighting to move forward. Yeah, it's like as soon as it clicks, you're like, oh, I gotta do this, this, and that. But before, I feel like maybe you weren't trying to hear this. Yeah, you could have been feeling out of flow. That can be the way that this was being experienced. Okay. You know, the way that this energy can feel is that you unexpectedly get kind of pushed on stage. And you may have been like, I don't go on stage for 3 days, and you just get like pushed on. And you could have felt like you weren't ready. Like, I see this as being like maybe you didn't feel confident. You could have felt unprepared for what this was. Everything is going according to plan, but it may not have been going according to your plan, but your plan became out of touch in some way. So it's like your guide's coming through and reminding you of your lines because you forgot here, and you could have been like, well, I didn't remember that part. And they're like, well, we're telling you now. So are you going to listen and adapt to it, or are you going to stand there arguing with us? Yeah, so overall, what I'm seeing with this is that it looks like something maybe happens earlier than you were expecting it to, and you can feel unprepared, but you just need to trust yourself and go along with it and trust that the timing is actually right of this. Okay? But yeah, I do see you get like pushed into this cycle unexpectedly. And you can be looking around and you cannot feel adjusted because it's like you just get plopped into a new scene and you have to figure it out. And it can be like, I was not expecting to be here for like 3 more days, but it's like you get plopped there early for some reason, and it's because that's like the time frame that you need to be there. So just go with the flow of that energy. It's going to end up being helpful for you. And try to be open-minded about it. Because it's like, it's a good thing. It's kind of like you get to decide whether this is a good trip or a bad trip, and it can be a really great one. Or you can be like standing there arguing with your guides, which just feels like, why do you want to do that, you know? All right, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting and tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.